was at preschool listening to his teacher. He didn't have his listening ears on. We've been getting some messages from his teacher. And so every morning before school, I am like, Josh will take him in, and I'm like, all right, babe, I love you. Be a good listener today. And so he is like, then he'll leave. The last 2 weeks, every morning when he leaves, he's like, all right, Mom, love you. Be a good listener today. And I'm like, Mom, you know what? You're not wrong.
Have you been taking his advice?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I could be better.
All right, I love getting a little glimpse of Archie and what he's like. But I want to know, what was childhood Jess like? What were you into?
Gosh. So I was super introverted. I would build doll houses out of like cardboard boxes, and I would just I was very like hands-on. Would build things, and I was alone a lot. I remember just kind of being by myself a lot, and I'd go out in the woods. Like, we had 7 acres.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we lived out in Washington County, Indiana, and on our property we had, I think, about 4 or 5 acres that were wooded. I would just go out there. Probably like 6 or 7, right? Like, my parents didn't care. They were just like, yeah, stay outside until the sun goes down.
Yes.
And don't come back.
That's what my mom would always say, because we lived on some land too.
Yeah.
And we would drive her crazy, and she would just say, go find something to do.
Yeah. Do not come back.
Yes. I was outside a lot as well.
Yeah, outside playing sports. So sports was a big part of my life growing up.
Which sports?
So basketball until the 7th grade.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah. So I played 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th.
Okay.
And in 7th grade, I made the A team, and we were the Silver Creek champions.
Wait, you were at Silver Creek too?
We played like some conference where Silver Creek hosted the game.
Okay, but you were at Salem.
I was at Eastern Pekin, East Washington.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I say Salem.
Yeah,
I say Salem because no one knows.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was the leading rebounder.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you aggressive?
I fouled out every game. Every game I fouled out.
See, because I don't see that in your personality at all. So that's hilarious.
So I'm like super competitive. And that's why I kind of shy away from some of it now, because I'm like, I'm all in. And then, so outside of basketball, I ended my basketball career. And then I ran track and played volleyball.
Okay.
All throughout high school.
What events did you run?
So I ran the 100 meter and 200 meters, so sprints.
Yeah.
And did the relays.
Okay.
So
which one?
400 meter and 800 meter.
Okay. I did the 4x1 and the 4x4.
Yeah.
My last meet ever, I was the 3rd leg.
Yeah.
And was going to hand off the baton, and our timing was a little bit off. And I just ate it. I completely, was able to pass the baton, fortunately.
Yeah.
But I ate it and tumbled, and I remember getting up, and my dad was on the corner of the fence in the track. I just walked straight up the track with him. I was like,
oh, yeah. I've never done that before.
I've never been that uncoordinated.
But that would suck.
Yeah. Were you guys pretty good?
So our volleyball team was pretty good for Pekin Eastern. I'm trying. We had a winning record. I can't remember how good we were. Let's see. Track. I did really well in. So I was really fast. And in volleyball, it's really funny because I'm only like 5'4", but I was like a hitter. Like, I was front row.
Really?
Because I could jump. Yeah, I can't jump now.
No,
but I could in high school. Yeah. So, and now I've been trying to get back to sports a little bit.
Okay.
I used to play in a sand volleyball league out in Louisville on Baxter.
Yep.
And then when they had their sand volleyball
Yeah.
court, we played there.
I wonder if we would have crossed paths because we do have, or at least Josh, we have some mutual friends.
Yeah.
And I would occasionally, when I lived in downtown New Albany, they would ask me to sub on their team.
Oh.
And I would ride my bike and go play. It was Corey Cochran.
Yes, that's the team I played on.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. So maybe we played together before we knew each other. Because it was right before we started the route, right around the time we opened.
Okay. Well, let's see. I think I played a few years after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, how?
I love when our worlds collide.
I
like
know.
that. It's so fun.
Well, we need to start that same volleyball league back up.
I would totally play sand volleyball again.
Yes.
And they asked me to play kickball. Have you played kickball?
I played once a couple of years back and actually surprised myself because I was like, I haven't played kickball since middle school.
It's
And
so
so
fun.
I'm like, I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna be the person that tries to kick and falls.
Yeah.
But no, I had a blast. It was so much fun. So yeah.
And people get really serious about it.
Oh.
Too serious.
Yeah.
Like they're curving the pitches or, making them bounce so it hits your chin. And
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what's interesting to me now at this stage where I try to get back into sports and I am thinking other people they're just dabbling. They're not gonna be super competitive. I went to a pickleball thing not too long ago and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
There's some competitors out here.
Especially in pickleball. It's a lot of ex-tennis players.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I didn't know that, but it would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, yeah, let's go play a friendly game of pickleball.
Yeah.
And no, that's not.
Not so friendly?
No, that's not. That's not the sport.
Yeah, people in their pickleball, they get serious. Yeah. I'm part of a group with Prosser. Yeah, and some of the teachers and faculty there. So that's been really fun because they're forgiving. They're good.
Yeah.
But they welcome newbies.
Okay.
And that's how I got to be introduced to the game. So I've maybe only played 10 times.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's a little social hour.
Yeah.
Maybe you should come with me to that.
Maybe. But I think once I got into it, then I would be the competitor.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah, you've got that look about you.
Yeah. I got to be doing it, right? I can't. That's my personality. Is I can't do anything halfway. If I am investing in it, it's it's all or nothing.
Yeah, that's exactly, before you got up, Chris and I were talking about that too.
Yeah.
Just as ex-athletes, it's really hard to flip that switch. And when your body doesn't do the same things as it used to, yet your mind is still sharp and almost even more improved.
Yeah.
You know the game better the older you get, but you can't always make your body do what you want it to.
Right.
I know, and I can't do things halfway. That's just the competitor in me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. And we were talking before we were on just about how I tweaked my shoulder stretching. And I'm just do I just need a reminder about me aging? And then I would, there's some mornings I'll wake up and I have a twinge in my neck. And I'm like, all I did was sleep.
Yeah.
What is this?
I know. Doing non-athletic things is when we get hurt.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, that's kind of the stage I'm in right now is how do I train my body for resiliency? Even, especially now not doing sports, right? I'm just day to day.
Yeah.
Stretching, sleeping. How do I train my body not to work against me when I wake up in the morning?
Yeah. Well, I want to get into that, but I do want to go back to more of your college career and then how you got into the career path you did, because wellness is very important to you. And not just wellness in what you're eating or are you working out,
Sure.
but it is body, mind, spirit. And that's something that I really love about you. And the second time around, whenever you've come back to the root, is whenever I've really gotten to know you better in that way.
Yeah.
So tell me, sports was over.
Yeah, all my sports career was over.
Retired the basketball
Retired.
jersey.
7th grade retired.
That's right.
Basketball. Yeah, so I was really fortunate enough to get a scholarship, a Lilly scholarship, and so I could go anywhere in the state of Indiana.
Okay.
And I toured a bunch of different schools. The school that I really liked was Butler University, so that was in Indy. It's about 2 hours away from my family, so it wasn't super far. I liked Indianapolis. I liked the feel of the college. It felt big to me, coming from a small town in Washington County, but it wasn't very big. I think there was only like 4,000 undergraduate students there.
Okay. At Furman, there were maybe 2,800
Yeah.
whenever I was there, so
Yeah.
it was just bigger than high school,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And fun fact about Butler, you probably know this, but do you know the movie Hoosiers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you live in Indiana, it's a
Yeah.
rite of passage to watch that movie. But you know that the game, their state championship game in real life, was played at the Butler.
At Hinkle.
Yeah.
Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the scene with Chris. Are you able to pull that up by chance? See if you can pull up the scene from Hoosiers where they're going into the gym before the state championship game. And he pulls out the tape measure. Oh my, it's giving me chills just thinking about it.
Yes.
So yeah, that's one of my favorite movies ever. And that was on the Butler campus.
Yeah.
Which is so
Crazy.
cool. They probably commemorate that in some kind of way, don't they?
No.
They don't?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No, you would never know if you hadn't seen the movie that took place there. So yeah, and Butler was really, so when I went to Butler, my freshman sophomore year, they went to the national championship in basketball.
Oh, was that Gordon?
Hayward?
Yes.
Yes, Sheldon Mack.
I will never forget the half court shot. Here's the Hoosier clip.
That's it.
Yep.
Oh, it's taking me back.
They didn't. No, this isn't actually Butler in the film, is it?
Yeah, that's Hinkle Fieldhouse. Yeah.
Wait, it is?
Uh-huh.
So they played it in the real life Hickory team played at Butler, but then they filmed it at Butler too?
That looks like Hinkle.
I have a Jimmy
It
Chitwood
looks-
jersey.
That looks like Hinkle. Because it's not very big. Like, it's not as big as you would think
Yeah.
it should be. Yeah, this is a great scene.
I know. And just the anticipation before a big game, before a performance.
Oh yeah, that performance anxiety.
But yeah, we talked a little bit about that.
Mm-hmm.
Just how before you're doing something big, whether it's you, Jess, giving a big speech or coming on this podcast, you get a little nervous, but that's a good sign because it means you care.
Means you care.
It's your body signaling that you're excited, like you said. But yeah, it's like I'm ready for this kind of thing.
Oh, it's your adrenaline. It's your body saying that this is important to you and that you need to focus.
Yeah.
And it's like you're almost like before a game, right? Like you kind of get in the zone, you get hyped.
Yep.
And that's what it is for me, or at least that's how I frame it for me before I give like a big speech, or if I have to go present something, or even before before like a really important meeting.
Yeah.
I've had some like really big board meetings that a lot of critical things had to go before the board, and I'm like, all right, I've got to get in the zone.
Yeah,
But
this is it.
Yeah, this is it.
Got out the tape measure.
Yeah.
You're measuring the executive
Uh-huh.
table in the monitor, and you're like, hey, these are all the same size.
This is what I trained for.
Exactly. Okay, so you're at Butler.
So I'm a Butler, and I have no idea what I want to do. I was like growing up in southern Indiana, in Salem, Washington County. I look back and I have very fond memories because you had that small town feel, felt very safe, but at the same time you weren't exposed to a lot of things. And so like growing up, I thought you could be like 4 things. I was like, you could be a teacher, a police officer, a nurse. Yeah, like so I just did not really see like what jobs were out there, what fields were out there. And so I started off, and I think pre-pharmacy, or one of them, and I hated it. Maybe it was pre-med, and I hated it. I was just like, this is not for me. I took biology and chemistry and all those like weed out courses, and you know the professors are not really teaching you, they're kind of just like talking at you, and I felt really disconnected by it. And so I took a semester and was like, okay, I'm just gonna see what's out there. I was exploratory, is the term they used. And I just took courses from all different fields. And the one that I landed on was actually, there were a couple of technology classes that I took. This is gonna sound so weird, not to you because you know I'm a nerd, but I really liked one of the spreadsheet classes.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, this is cool. Like I can organize everything. I can make these pivot tables and charts. Like this is really cool.
You're speaking all the type A's.
I know. And I will say, side note, like after I got out of college, that spreadsheet course was probably the most used for me thing that I learned in college.
It's such a translatable skill.
Yeah.
You can actually apply that.
Oh, anywhere.
Yeah.
Business, nonprofits,
Yeah.
like, you know how to do spreadsheets? Okay, like, we need you.
Yeah.
I was invaluable for a while.
Meanwhile, I'm taking a Maymester class on the sociology of Harry Potter.
Oh, gosh, it's great.
Still great in its own way,
Yes.
but not as
Yeah.
applicable as spreadsheets.
Yeah, way more fun.
It was cool.
So I liked the professor, and he was like the dean, I think, of the major information systems, and really I got into that degree because of him, and so I ended up changing my major to that, and it's all about how you use it. Yes, information, but people, processes, and technology all in one.
I didn't even know that was a major.
Yeah.
Or possible.
Yeah, I didn't either until I was an exploratory major for a minute. So it fell under the business school, so I still got relevant courses like accounting and economics and business ethics, those types of courses. So it really well-rounded my education. And then after college, I was like, okay, I'm not going back to Washington County, Indiana. I lived in Indianapolis for 4 years and stayed, even during the summers. I'm going to move to a big city. I'm going to live and work downtown. And so, we talked about this before, but I moved to Chicago. I was a data analyst for a healthcare research company, lived and worked downtown, and I felt like I was fooled a little bit because every time I had visited Chicago in the past, it was summertime shy. It was beautiful, there were so many things going on, a lot of energy in that city during that time, but yeah, that winter was brutal. With the lake effect, it was on record the coldest winter Chicago had in the last 50 years.
And that's saying something, because Chicago's always cold in the winter.
Always cold.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, I hated it. It was miserably cold. I would come and visit my family down here, and it would be 20 degrees warmer, and
You were saying too that when you would get up in the morning, you check the weather, and if it was above 0 degrees, that was a warm day.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yes.
It's nuts. And the decision, the moment I will always remember is the decision I made to leave was I had got on the train to go to work. I got off the train station, walked the block to my office building, got into the lobby, and my eyelashes had frozen over. And I'm like, that's it? I'm done? Like, we are done with this. And so, yeah, I moved from Chicago. I came back to southern Indiana for just a minute. I didn't know what I wanted to do because the job that I had up there was it was a little soul sucking. So it was just behind the desk computer screen, and it was like all spreadsheets.
Which you thought would be
Which
awesome.
I thought, oh my gosh, yeah, I thought, yeah, spreadsheets, that was gonna be my life, but
You are so much more than spreadsheets.
so much,
Jess.
yeah,
Oh
spreadsheets
my
are
gosh.
just a tool.
That's right.
So I wanted to go do something meaningful for at least a little bit, and while I found I was gonna go back into business or the private side eventually, and I'm like, okay, well, while I'm waiting for that to work out, I'm going to just go do something. Maybe I'll work for a nonprofit, maybe I'll volunteer for a little bit, and I ended up getting a fundraising job at a school in Louisville, and it was like the lowest position. It paid $29,000
Oh my
a
gosh.
year.
That buys like a month's worth of food now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What was funny is when they offered me the job, they're like, it's gonna be $29,000, and I was like, okay, okay, it's fine. And because when I was in Chicago, I was making like 3 times more than that. But I was like, you know what? We'll do this for a little bit. We'll try it. We'll see. Doesn't work. It's fine. I ended up spending almost 3 years at that school. I learned so much. I learned everything, the ins and outs of fundraising and what a development department does, and all the different fields that go into fundraising. So there's like events, there's major gifts, there's annual giving, there's even more. So it was great. It was a great experience. I was in my early 20s. I lived right off Bardstown Road, so that was fun. That was fun. And so after a few years, and then I was doing some like gigs on the side that were really paying the bills. So
Okay. Like what?
I was building websites.
Okay.
And doing things like that. I had a mentor who had founded his own tech company, asked me to help him with some of the just writing proposals.
Okay.
Things that he couldn't do internally because he didn't have the capacity. He didn't have the bandwidth. So I would take jobs like that.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I had a friend who was working for a nonprofit at the time, and they had just gotten a grant by the community foundation to it was to lead a technology initiative in southern Indiana. And she was like, I'm looking for this, a certain person for this position, because they have to have people skills, because they're going to be working with different service providers to get them on this technology, but they also have to be tech savvy. too. And I was like, that might be a good fit for me. So joined the Homeless Coalition of Southern Indiana, and oh gosh, I don't even remember the dates. Over 10 years ago, maybe. 10 years, maybe less than that.
You came to the root like 7 years ago.
Okay, so it was 7. Yeah. So around that time, was this with them for a few years, and they were undergoing a lot of transition. And the executive director had transitioned out, and so I was kind of I was in charge of my project that I was leading, that technology initiative. I was also helping the organization that didn't have an executive director stay steady and make sure that it had all the things it needed to do to be operational.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like my first taste at what goes into running an organization. And then while I was there, I was asked to be on the board of CASA of Floyd County.
Yeah.
And they at the time, CASA was under the umbrella of St. Elizabeth Catholic Charities for about 40 years. And that their board decided they wanted to be their own 501c3, which means that if they were that legal entity, they could write and get their own grants and raise funds for that specific organization. And so they did all that at the end of 2019.
Oh.
Yeah. So the first year of incorporation for that nonprofit, they couldn't do any fundraising. No community outreach, no public awareness. They're primarily a volunteer organization. I think 40 plus volunteers at the time. They couldn't do any recruitment. And so they had a lot, they struggled. They really struggled. They struggled at the time financially because obviously money's not coming in. There were, I think, issues with one of the grants, the federal grants that they had. It was held up, and so it was just in a dire state. So I came on board, sat in a few board meetings, and when I was on the board, they did not have an executive director at the time. They were looking for their new director, and I got an email. I remember this. I got an email from the board chair and vice chair asking if they could meet with me virtually. And I was like, sure. And I just thought that they wanted to talk more about something I had mentioned at one of the last board meetings. But they actually asked me to be the new executive director, which I said no. Initially.
I mean, good for you.
Yeah.
You know your limits, have some boundaries at the time. And I'm sure too, every business at that time had to learn how to go digital, essentially.
Yeah.
If you didn't make that switch or that leap, you kind of got lost.
Oh, totally.
And going back to what you were saying, a lot of times nonprofit volunteers, employees, executive directors, they are more intuitive and less analytical.
Yes.
And maybe they know the people that they're serving.
Yeah.
They have this bleeding heart, which is amazing.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't mean you know how to run the business, let alone technical initiatives and really how to drive that digital presence.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And that was something when I thought about it for a minute and decided to take on the job. Say yes.
Boundary.
Yeah.
Crossed.
I never thought about it like that, but the fact that I said no instead of yes initially, like that, I gotta give myself props, because I'm like the yes person. Like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that.
Maybe it gave you leverage too.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
You were more in demand because you said no.
Yeah.
It's kind of like dating.
Right.
You know, you can't give it all up
Right.
once, right?
No. You have to play hard to get a little bit.
That's right.
Yeah. So I only play hard to get for like 3 hours, and then I made the call. And so I came in 2021, early 2021, and there was just a lot that we needed to figure out. We needed to figure out funding. We needed to figure out office space. There were policies, procedures we needed to figure out. We just needed to figure out like everything. And so coming in with a business background and having some experience in running an organization, like to your point, a lot of nonprofits, they have directors who have a background in social work, which is so important. They have bleeding hearts. And then when they are asked to be the executive director of an organization, that is, you're running a business. It's two totally different skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found that I'm actually really good at the business side of running the organization side. And at CASA, I was able to focus on that piece and promote up someone who was good at the social work side. So she ran the programming. I ran the organization and could focus on fundraising.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So it did to me. I was like, yeah, why would I try to do it all? And also, I had a great team and staff at the organization. I think it would be a little different if there were people who I just didn't trust to do the job, but everyone there, like, they were just amazing at what they do. They had the heart, but they also were competent, and that was so important. So I had the right people around me. We were able to, in 2 years, so I was there 2.5 years, I think we raised almost $2 million.
Wow.
We grew the budget by like 70%. We grew, I can't remember all the exact numbers, but we grew in volunteers. The wait list when I started was over 200 children. When I left, it was like 40, and those 40 were still being seen by a staff member. So just, they weren't assigned directly, but they were still being seen periodically to ensure that there were eyes on the child.
Yeah.
And so it was amazing to see all of the growth, just in 2.5 years, and what could be possible when you have the right people in place. We had the right people in leadership too that believed in me and supported the organization. And yeah, it was great to be a part of something where everyone felt a strong pull to kind of just give it their all and be better, and also you feel like you're a part of something bigger than yourself. And so that was amazing. And then, so during this time, I'm like starting to see all of the symptoms of these systemic issues, like CASA, I didn't say it before, stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates. And so these are volunteers and sometimes staff who are assigned by the court to children who are in foster care. And they're there because they've either been abused or neglected. And so it was so hard because of the nature of the work. And I was an indirect service, like the staff was really focused on the organization, but it was hard to see them really struggle with secondhand trauma, burnout, feeling like they aren't in control of anything. And we would help 100 kids, and then we get 100 more, right? Like we just could not.
It's a never-ending.
It's a never-ending
job.
It was just like we're putting a Band-Aid on the issue. Like we need to focus on not the symptoms of the problem. How do we focus on the actual root cause?
Yes.
And so I started to get really into prevention, public health, and was learning a lot through that lens. How do we focus more upstream on our problems, which is, there's there's not a whole lot of, there's not a whole, I wouldn't say there's not a whole lot of effort. It's just it's like public health is so underfunded. It's not as sexy as giving to something that has a more tangible or immediate need, because prevention takes time and it takes collaboration. You need all kinds of partners together. I mean, these are like a lot of levers here that need to be pulled from a lot of different people who may have different values, may have different political beliefs, all of that.
And you're probably fighting an uphill battle to an extent, because not everybody wants the public to prevent health issues.
Yeah.
They don't want to see some of those types of systemic problems resolved.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably have just a unique
It was, yeah, it was.
issue
It is.
role in that.
Right? And but we know that if we just spend a little bit more money on prevention, it's going to save millions of dollars downstream because of, I mean, you think of like emergency visits, you think of medication, absolutely. And just quality of life, like long term too.
Yep.
So I was starting to get into the, like, looking more on that lens and, what we could do on that side. And CASA, I didn't want to mission creep because they're really there to be an advocate and a voice in court for children who are in the foster care system. But that was still nagging at me, the idea of like, how do we prevent kids from being abused?
What is mission creep?
Mission creep is when, so you have your organization has a mission, right? And then you see a project over there and you're like, oh, well, we could do that. And then you see another one over there and you're like, well, we could probably do that. And never really stopping to think like, does this actually align with the intent of the mission of our organization?
I've never heard that phrase before.
Yeah.
It's kind of like shiny object syndrome.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Getting off your path.
Yeah, absolutely. And with a nonprofit, why it's really concerning is because they're resource constrained. They have so many things working against them, and they have to fundraise. They have to write grants. All of these pieces. It's hard. It really is hard, especially for small nonprofits, to be sustainable when they're in constant reactive mode, and that's what it is. And so it's so important to stay on your mission, because as you start getting off into the weeds with other projects, again, your resources are limited. So you need to make sure that you're in alignment with what your mission says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just kind of crazy, like the stars had aligned because I was really wanting to do more work around prevention in public health, and just so happened that the foundation, at the time Floyd Memorial Foundation, they were disaffiliating from Baptist Health Hospital. And that foundation, they had been established since like the 70s to be the philanthropic support for the hospital. And they also gave an allocation to the community nonprofits to support community health. And so with the disaffiliation from the hospital and the foundation, the hospital said it wanted to have its own foundation that would just support the hospital. And then the foundation, Floyd Memorial Foundation, the board was very clear early on, okay, well, we'll focus on prevention and the community. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I've been talking about. And so I was very fortunate to get the executive director position. So I came on 2023, and It was a startup. It was crazy. Because I thought this foundation, it's been around since the 70s, like they're gonna have things established, systems in place. They did not.
Then you had a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah. So, and to be fair, when it was a part of the hospital, they did. They had handbooks and policies, procedures, all of those things. They had, their CRM and all that good stuff. But when it disaffiliated, the hospital actually owned all of that.
Oh, messy breakup.
Yeah, yes and no. I think we've navigated it pretty well, and we still partner with the hospital. We still give them, let's see, I think this year we'll give them over $100,000.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, in grants.
Okay.
Because we want them to do well.
Mm-hmm.
The hospital, they're our community's hospital, right? Like if I get hurt, make sure
Yeah.
that they're doing well, because that's where I go. That's where I had my son, and
yeah.
But their focus is more on acute care
Okay.
and emergencies and the hospital, and we can focus on community
Gotcha.
prevention. So we're a good complement to each
Okay.
other.
I was gonna ask how their grants differ than yours.
Yeah, and so, like the grants that we give to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we give a grant to them as a part of our goal to be the philanthropic support for community health.
Okay.
And right now we're focused on mental health.
Yeah.
Which is really, it's obviously really needed, but it might not always be.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to make sure that our hospitals are doing well, and we want to make sure we're funneling money right to the partners who are providing different services that are improving, enhancing health.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's the past executive director for the Baptist Health Floyd Foundation. We got along great. Like he was great. So it's been, and we still talk. So it's been good. And they've been great to work with as I'm coming on and learning and need more information about, hey, where did this account come from? Like, can you help me understand?
Yeah.
So I think we're both just trying to figure out how to navigate the transition.
That's such a great point and a feel-good moment, because I've been able to talk to a consultant recently, and he was talking about how you can use a quote-unquote competitor.
Mm-hmm.
So, but use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
How actually bringing your competitors or people in the same position as you, bringing everybody into the same room, so you can present, hey, I'm going through this issue, are you guys experiencing this too?
Yeah.
Are there ways that we can actually work together
Yes.
to grow the slice of the pie?
Yeah.
Whenever we were figuring out what our concept was going to be, we started by going back to Greenville, South Carolina, where I got to go to school, and we toured a co-working space, asked a million questions, and that space manager was very forthcoming with the information, but it made sense because they're not going to have the same membership, pool as us.
Yes.
But then, even whenever we started doing more research in this area, Natalia Bishop, who owns Story, Louisville, she was incredible. She was so welcoming and gave us all the information that we could want. I know, and so that was really encouraging to see, as somebody starting out, that the co-working sphere was just like it was meant to be. It is co-working.
Yes,
and,
I love that.
Yeah, and cooperating together.
Yeah, that's amazing, and that's what I found too in the philanthropic side of nonprofits. So every quarter, all of the funders in Southern Indiana have lunch together, and we share what's going on, what things that we're prioritizing, we're giving grants to, and kind of what's coming up, and then each of us gets to share if if we want to, about things that we're excited about or that may be on our radar in the future. So,
Okay. What are some of those things? What's the Southern Indiana Health Foundation up to now?
yeah, so we are, I had mentioned mental health, and so let me just give some context around that. So, when we were in that, weird transition of like, who are we now that we're not the hospital foundation?
Yeah.
The grants committee decided on, let's figure out what our needs are in the community, and let's align our resources to meet the greatest need. And so we looked at the community health assessments for Southern Indiana, for the regions that our foundation covers, and mental health was all over it. It's all over it. And so we looked at that and we were like, okay, what are some key funding priorities under mental health that we can focus on that would really underscore like the prevention lens that we're trying to focus on?
Yeah.
Youth mental health, substance abuse, education, trauma. So all of those things influence it, and we're still refining what that looks like. We actually have a committee meeting in February about, okay, this is what we said we wanted to focus on, but let's get a little bit more narrow in outcomes.
Yeah.
What's the actual outcome we want to work towards, and then let's work backwards from there to see what we should be measuring.
Reverse engineering.
Yeah.
Chris was able to pull up your website here. And I know that you were talking to me about the whole rebranding and how you're presenting yourself to the community. And it's been really cool to see your all's transformation.
Yes.
And the fact that you're, correct me if I'm wrong, Jess, but you guys are able to basically double the amount of money that you're going to give this year.
Yeah. So this past grant cycle, and the press release just went out today.
It did?
Yeah. So we awarded over $400,000 to 21 nonprofits serving Southern Indiana.
Yeah.
This next cycle, which will be in the fall, application period is September 2026.
Okay.
We are going to be able to award up to $850,000.
That's incredible.
Which is, it's amazing. It's amazing to get to be a part of, sitting in on the grants committee meetings where, I mean, you have some of the top leaders in their fields in this room together, and we're talking doctors, lawyers, bankers, like people who are at the top, and they're looking through each application, and they are like, they're really just, they have a magnifying glass to it almost, and they're like not scrutinizing, but they're really taking a close look at every piece of the application and asking really thoughtful questions about should we be investing in this nonprofit? What is the return on investment? So it's really business language that is being used around these grants, because we do feel like the foundation is investing into the community, and we want to make sure we are investing in the right things that are going to show measurable returns.
Yeah. And now you're on the flip side. So where you were at CASA, you're in a reactive position. It's very draining because this cycle never ends. Now you're in a position where you get to award those people that are doing incredible things in the community. You probably get to see some really cool and creative ideas on new programs, and you do get to see the impact that you're making because it is measurable.
Yes. Yeah, it's really exciting to be on this side, because I when I was on the other side of the nonprofit world, you really only get to see just what your organization is working on,
Mhm.
and you can go down a rabbit hole in it because there's just so much involved. Especially with CASA, there's the whole court system, all of those pieces. There's like Department of Child Services. There's all of those things that are related to the work. Now, when you go on, like for now as a funder, when I zoom out and I see all of these dozens of nonprofits who are in their own worlds and the needs that they are working to address, and the passion, all of them are so passionate about what they do. It's so inspiring to be a part of, and the partners we have made awards to in the past, there's just a sense of like, they're gonna take care of what needs to be taken care of. They're doing the right thing. They are out here, some of them literally on the street, trying to make our community healthier, safer. They're the ones that are, they're putting on their bootstrap, they're lacing, they're putting on their boots and getting to work because they care.
Yeah.
They care about our community and the people that live in it, and I get to just see and support and champion that work. And so it's just been awesome to be a part of, because I get to meet with all different nonprofits. Some that work with veterans, some that work with teens, some that work with just moms, and you get to just see the best of humanity.
Which you don't often get to see
Yeah.
in nonprofit work.
And I said this once at a CASA volunteer meeting when I was there, I think this was a couple years ago. At CASA, it was hard work. It was really hard work because you have to, not only are you working with a child who is in the foster care system, maybe they're with foster parents, maybe they're with like a grandparent, and then while the parents are trying to heal or undergo services to work on themselves, and then you can really get caught up in just some of the horrific, terrible things that have happened, and you see the worst of humanity, and that's what's so hard. But as a director of that program, I got to see the best. I got to see the best of humanity, because there was the staff and there were volunteers who, they didn't know these kids, right? They're strangers.
Yeah.
But they signed up to say, I will stand in this courtroom in front of a judge, and I'm gonna advocate for this kid.
Yeah.
Like, how terrifying, right? Like,
Seriously.
the average person to be able to do that is it's so heroic to me.
Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart.
No.
I've got a friend who has been in social work since she started her career path. And I've always admired and respected her because I've always taken jobs that are shiny, happy.
Yeah.
I don't really pull my sleeves up and get into the tougher parts of society.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and it's so easy not to, right? We live, I'm very blessed, and I live in a interesting duality where this is my work, and so I see the needs of our community, but then I don't have to, right? If I didn't choose to, I don't have to.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate the people who sign up for it, and they're like, I'm gonna stand in this hard, messy, difficult experience because I know someone needs me, and I have the capacity to support them. Not everyone does, right? And that's the other thing is, not everyone has the capacity, the emotional bandwidth to support someone who's going through a really difficult, sometimes just horrible time.
Yeah.
So So.
I agree. Aw, come on. That's my countdown clock. But that was actually a great transition because so many of the nonprofits that you have supported through your foundation are also members of the Roots. And I know that they have been benefactors of some of these grants that you've gotten. But I wanted to ask you from your perspective, has there been any fruit that you have received by having an office at the Root?
Oh yeah. So I'll give this example because it was the most recent. We had a dinner. It was
That's right.
a holiday dinner before Christmas, and I am a staff of one.
Yes, you are.
And so we hired a caterer. We had a space. It was at the Prologue, and they took care of like the bartender and all of that good stuff. And I was like, okay, we have a marketing company, so I'm like, all right, they can do all of the printed materials. They'll do the slideshow, and then I'm like, all right, well, I can do the decorations. Like, that'd be fine. And so 3 days before the event, I get the idea that I want to hand make all of the centerpieces. Because I'm a psycho.
Yes, let's add more work. Make this
And
tough.
what's hilarious is in my brain, before I made that decision, it was like, oh no, this is going to be a really nice way to decompress. It's going to be relaxing and creative. Like, you're making the space for creativity in your work life. Like, you should do it. And so I remember day of, and I'm like, okay. I watched a YouTube video of how to make centerpieces, so this is going to be really easy. So I go to the store, I buy the material, I come here, and I just set out on the first floor, like one of the tables on the first floor, set all the pieces, and it takes me an hour to make one.
Yeah.
And I use half of my supplies.
Oh my God.
And so I was like, oh, this was a mistake.
TikTok, Pinterest, they all make it look so
Yeah,
easy to do these projects.
And that first one was a Pinterest fail. It was so bad.
Okay, it wasn't that bad. I got to see it.
Did you see the red with the red one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't bad.
Did you see me pick it up and the balls were falling off?
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was part of it, is I had to glue on all of these ornaments onto the styrofoam, and then I bought just like these fake fir branches and stick them in there, and I don't know why I thought that was only going to take 10 minutes.
Yeah.
No, it took forever. And so I was freaking out because I had to make 6 more identical, and I think the energy around me was that of alarm. And the poor people on the first floor were like, oh, we gotta help her. Like, she needs some help. And so I went back the next day. I went to Hobby Lobby, got a bunch of ornaments and all the things I needed, a second hot glue gun, and I think I asked Jimmy, and I was just like, can you please help me?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. He's like, I'll help you. And he came down and he helped. He cut off all the stems, I think.
Yes, he did.
And then you were down there and you helped me. You made one. Susanna was here, and she not only helped me like carry everything down, but she stayed with me throughout the event. She was checking people in. Like, she brought a dress. She looked beautiful, and she was like helping me co-host it. It was so nice. Like, stayed with me till the end. Adam was here, and he helped me with the AV stuff, because I didn't even think about AV at an event.
There's a lot to think about.
Yeah, so it was just amazing to see this group of people just come together last minute who were all busy working professionals, and they were like, she needs help. Let me roll up my sleeves and I can help. I can pitch in an hour. I can, I'm free this evening, like I can go down there and help. So it was just, it was so beautiful, like honestly, just to see like the collaboration and feel it. And that's something that I know you talk about a lot at the Root, is like the people make it. And it's so true. It's so true. The people here are hands down like some of the best people in the community. They really are like so generous with their time, or like their talent, or they're trying to help you figure something out. They're problem solvers. They're just so amazing. Like not only that, like not only the professional piece, but also like personal stuff too. They're always trying to learn and grow and be better in their personal lives. So it's just been great for me to be around, because I now feel like I'm part of this group who's always like trying to be better both professionally and personally, and now I have this like social group that is that, which I didn't have before, and it's just been such a positive influence in my life.
Well said.
Yeah, put that on the website.
This is going front and center.
All right, yeah.
You're gonna be splashed all over this place.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
That's awesome, man. Okay, so before we end, is there anything that you have going on, maybe like late spring, where people can support? They can be on the lookout. If they want to donate,
Ooh.
what can they do?
Yeah. So, I mean, you can always, like at the foundation, you can always donate to the foundation. Like, that is for work. I am, that's my job, is to raise money for the foundation. So I don't want to dismiss that entirely. And we're going to be doing some fundraisers, and we have a golf scramble in July, July 24th, that we'll be having at Champions Point.
Can people sign up through your website whenever that's up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll try to have that up before this goes live.
Okay.
The other thing, two other things in my personal life. So I'm going on a mission trip in September.
What?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Honduras.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
God. What are you,
I'm
what's the mission?
building, yeah, we're building a home for a family in Honduras. And this is my first one. I'm so nervous.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, why are you nervous?
I don't know. I'm nervous because it's out of my control. Like a lot of it is out of and I'm a control freak, total type A. And so, and when I've traveled in the past, like I get to pick where I stay, I get to pick like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And a lot of that I don't like. And so I'm a little nervous because I also am an introvert, like tried and true. Like I like my personal time, I like my space to be able to do whatever I want. So I don't know, it's gonna be a different experience for me, but
Yeah.
I'm excited about it, and I've always wanted to do it, so
Yeah.
now, yeah.
Okay, so it's always been a dream of
Yeah.
yours, would you say?
Yeah, a dream.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm gonna tell you what you told me off the air.
Yeah. Yes.
That if you have a dream and it doesn't scare you, then it's not big enough.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's so true. You're so wise.
Oh, yeah, I heard that somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, so I am excited about that.
Amazing.
So that's in September, and I will be donate, if anyone wants to donate, they don't have to, but I'm going to share a Facebook post on it.
Great.
Sometime
Okay.
in the future. And so that's coming up. And the other thing that I'm currently working on, so health and wellness it's not just my professional life, but I love it. I'm a health enthusiast, I'm a wellness advocate. That is something that I not only like preach, but I really try to walk the path of someone who is healthy and well. And I spend a lot of time, my personal time, just like almost like optimizing for it. Like, how can I be healthier? How can I sleep more? How can I figure out how to be in the right mindset for the day? You know, all of these things. But also, the other piece is prevention. Like, how do I create habits now that are going to prevent health issues or wellness issues later down the road? And it's so hard, I think. We didn't really get into this, but I'm a mom to a 4.5-year-old who keeps me busy. He is wild child. I mean, I'm talking feral. Like, feral is the word to use for this phase. And I'm just, so I've been trying to figure out, you know, like, you read about how you need to be exercising at least 2 to 3 times a week, and you need to be, you know, a morning routine, and all of these things. And I am like, okay, I don't need help with information. There's so much information out there. How do I actually execute? How do we do these healthy things for us when we have demanding jobs and we are also, you know, parents or caregivers? We also are trying not to go insane because we have so many things on our plate, projects, personal passion projects that we have. And so I'm learning more about that. I'm actually enrolled in a course right now. It's by Harvard Medical School's Executive Education. So it's a lifestyle and wellness program. And I wanted to learn, I'm always learning, but just what does the latest research say on our stress? You know, what we can do for stress, for sleep. All of these, our diet, you know, exercise, all of those pillars to a healthy life. And so that's something I'm learning right now in this program. I think it ends in, March, so maybe around the time this comes out. But what I am really passionate about, what I've found, is helping people who struggle with implementing healthy habits into their busy lives. Do that. Like, how do we design your environment so that the healthy choice is the easy choice?
Yeah.
And I've been doing that myself right now. I'm kind of in this phase, and I've been sharing online and getting some really good feedback. And when I keep sharing, I keep hearing the same thing: is nearly everyone struggles.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. It's so easy. Like you said, information is not hard to come by.
Yeah.
But it is the action in putting that information, integrating it into your daily life.
Yes.
It is. Tell the audience about the example that you said about working out earlier in the morning, eliminating the barriers.
Yeah. So I just read this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. Highly recommend if you have not read it. But it talks about environment design and reducing friction to start a habit. So, for example, for me, for a long time, months, where I was like, I want to get up early and walk on my treadmill. And for months, I would hit that snooze alarm. I would snooze that alarm so fast. And I just was like, I don't understand, like, why I'm so motivated. I want this goal, but I keep hitting snooze. Like, am I just not disciplined? Am I just, like, not I'm not an athlete anymore? I'm not, like, this or that. And so in this book, it talks about how if you can set up the right environment and make things easy to do, then you're more likely to do it. And I'm like, okay, well, how does this apply to my life? And so I thought, how about this? How about I set an alarm in the morning, but I put that alarm not next to me on the nightstand, but in my bathroom.
Yep.
Then, the night before, I'm going to lay out all my workout clothes. And I'm gonna set them on the counter, and then I'm gonna put my phone on them, and then I'm actually gonna put like the t-shirt on top. So I have to physically take off
I didn't know
my
you
shirt.
went that
Oh,
deep.
I have, yeah,
Oh
I went
my
deep.
gosh.
So I've been doing that. I never hit snooze. This has been like 3 weeks now, where I've woken up 5:30 in the morning, and that was so unrealistic for me. If we're talking like 3 months ago, I was waking up at 7:15, and my whole day would be reactive.
Yep.
It's like I'm like, oh god, I gotta get this.
You start in a hurry. And then you're anxious and
sets the tone for the rest of the day.
Yep.
So, yeah, now my alarm goes off at 5:30 in the bathroom. I would go in there, I'm so tired, and I like have to physically take off that t-shirt. So I'm holding it in this hand, and then and then I'm like, okay. Swipe it, turn it off, and then I shut the door, turn on the light. The light is so bright. I mean, I'm talking like this brightness.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'm awake. And then I literally the next thing is to put on the clothes, to put on the tennis shoes. Then the next thing after that is to go down the hall and get on the treadmill. And the next thing after that is to turn it on. And the next thing after that is to get the workout program that I've been doing over the last few days, turn that on. And then, I mean, it's been automatic. Like,
and then you're doing it.
And then I'm talking like, this has been every day for 3 weeks, and it doesn't feel like there's a lot of friction around it. And what's interesting is the last few days, I've been waking up before the alarm.
Yeah, you've gotten your body into that biorhythm where it's more natural now. It's not forced anymore.
Yeah.
And it's such a simple switch.
Yes.
It's such a simple habit to change.
Yeah.
Not waking up necessarily, but the 2 minutes before you go to bed of putting your clothes out.
Yeah, and so I think that's a huge piece is the morning routine actually starts the night before.
Yeah.
So when Archie is in the bath, that's when I take all of my clothes upstairs. That's when I take that phone upstairs. And I am, so I get that ready. And I also, in Atomic Habits, it talks about resetting the room.
Okay.
And so it's ready for its next use.
Yeah.
So I'll reset the kitchen, which looks like I put all the dishes in the dishwasher, clean off the counters, everything. But I lay out everything I would need for breakfast, because I make breakfast in the morning.
Yeah.
Lay it all out. And so the next morning when I work out, after I have my walk, I go downstairs, I start the coffee that I had ready the night before, meditate for a little bit, journal for a little bit.
Love it.
Then I go and I make breakfast. And I timed it.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd. And I can make breakfast for my family, starting from when I walk into the kitchen till like it's ready, like eggs and toast and everything is on 3 plates in 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it feels like that is such a heavy task. In the morning, if you're waking up tired, again, if you're not disciplined enough to get up as early as you want, then you're in that rush mode for the rest of the day. It makes easy tasks seem harder.
So hard. Yeah. And then, that was me. When I would wake up after I've snoozed the alarm clock 3 times, and I'm like, oh god, I gotta get up, I gotta get Archie up, I gotta go downstairs and make breakfast. Oh, I'm down here, nothing's clean, we're out of everything, like, okay, and then you're just in a hurry the whole time, flustered, and then, Archie is looking at me like, calm down, Mom.
Yes.
And
back to that observation, that full circle moment there.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm just trying to create systems that like work in my life and have been helpful, not only helpful, but like things I can stick to.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've heard James Clear say, the author of that book, is, you know, don't plan habits that you can do on like your best day. Like, cause you're gonna try to like optimize and do like 10 habits that are great, you know, but you can only do them on your best day. Design a routine where you can do all of those habits on your worst day, on a bad day. Oh,
That's profound.
that's profound. Yeah. So I'm learning. I'm still learning, but I love doing it. I love doing it for myself. I've helped a few others just kind of reevaluate their environment a little bit and some of the habitual habits that they've done and they feel like no longer serve them. And so once I completed that course, I want to help others do that. So
Amazing.
yeah.
I cannot wait to catch back up with you and see what you've learned from that course. See how your mission trip goes. See what the Southern Indiana Health Foundation has funded and the projects you've gotten into. Cannot wait to follow your journey.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jess. This was awesome.
This was fun. Thank you.
Woohoo! All right. Well done.
That was fun.
I know. It's hard to stop the conversation. It really is. I mean.
Well, I knew that's why, like, this was gonna be easy because I'm like, I can talk to her for hours.
I know. And we really I'm so glad we got into your history because it was